Welcome back, everyone. I'm Loria Kanata, Policy Studies Librarian here at Georgia State University. Our presenter today is an educator with over 15 years of experience. Professor Adrienne Baldwin is a mathematics instructor at Chattahoochee Technical College and the 2023 recipient of the Rick Perkins Award, Excellence in Technical Instruction from the Technical College System of Georgia. According to Chattahoochee Technical College President Dr. Ron Newcomb, Baldwin exemplifies the very best of what TCSG colleges offer in preparing students for life beyond the classroom and helping them reach their career goals. She has significantly impacted mathematics education by pioneering the adoption of OER, enhancing teaching methodologies, and improving student outcomes, while also playing a key role in shaping educational policies and programs through various leadership positions. She is joined by Dr. Edsel Clark, former K-12 educator and administrator, current VP of Operations for Guided Education, and the maker of MATHGPT, to present Empowering Mathematical Minds, Unveiling MATHGPT.AI as the future of open educational resources. Please welcome them both and their students. Thank you. All yours.
Thank you. Adrienne, are you all good here to kick us off?
Yes. Can y'all hear me okay?
Perfect.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our presentation on Empowering Mathematical Minds, Unveiling MATHGPT.AI as the future of open educational resources. Again, my name is Adrienne Baldwin, and I am a math instructor here at Chattahoochee Technical College. I have a couple of my students with me. I believe there might be a few online. I'm not 100% sure if they were able to get in. I do want to make one little statement before we get started that I don't work for Guided Education. I am not being paid to do this. I really am passionate about what I do and I love teaching. And when I saw what they have to offer, I just fell in love with the fact that they are working towards student success for our math classrooms. So I just want to share. And if it's something that you don't really like, maybe it at least starts to change your mindset about bringing AI into the classroom. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Edsel Clark, let him introduce himself, and he's going to begin our presentation for us.
Great. Thanks so much, Adrienne. Yeah, I absolutely appreciate that. You know, as the intro mentioned, I currently am VP of Operations for Guided Education. Prior to that, 15 years as a public educator, and started my professional life as a young 22-year-old in the high school classroom, teaching students and realizing how you know, incredibly challenging math education specifically can be, and that was a number of years ago. So I know it certainly has probably only increased in its challenge, but with technology, certainly a lot of opportunities exist out there. So you know, easy, kind of straightforward agenda for today. We're going to do a little conversation around how AI is being used and being seen in education, understand Adrienne's journey. I'll share just a little brief overview of what MathGPT is, and then Adrienne's going to share a little bit more about how she's starting to integrate this in her classroom. And I think certainly the highlight of the session today will be hearing from students who are using this AI tool in their math classrooms, what they love about it and what they're optimistic for, you know, certainly in the future. So again, yeah, we'll go ahead and start with kind of the current state of affairs of AI in education. We all know, you know, generative AI is really kind of sweeping the country, sweeping the world. It's nearly every news update, something like that. There's something AI related. You know, we understand that it provides, you know, great promise for education, but there certainly are drawbacks. First of all, we know that students, they're starting to use it. If they haven't used it in this past year, they're using ChatGPT or some other generative AI tool, certainly for their coursework now. We also know that ChatGPT or other generative AI tools, they can be inaccurate. And this is especially the case with mathematics. Simple, straightforward calculations like 2 + 2, those are handled just fine by ChatGPT. You start to get into more complex questions, certainly geometric questions, graphs, charts, word problems, which I know students have a lot of struggles with in general. ChatGPT and generative AI, they can be inaccurate. Students may be attracted to these short-term benefits. Maybe I can get a quick answer, but often that comes to the detriment of their long-term learning, because the reality is these generative AI large language models, like ChatGPT, they're not trained with an education focus. And that being said, because it is so ubiquitous, this idea of using AI, especially in education, teachers really, in general, understand that there's probably some great opportunity here, but there's still some hesitation, and I think rightly so. I was in the classroom when graphing calculators became the rage, and truthfully, there was the same sentiment of, well, this is now a tool that's going to do everything for the students, and I just feel like while those same concerns might exist, there's certainly a way through this, and I think Adrienne is been making some great work and progress on that. And is going to share a little bit about her journey and some of her perspective for AI in the classroom.
Yeah, and as Edsel was sharing with us there, I felt those flashbacks come when we were having trainings and informational sessions about the AI in the classroom and all the negatives that they were sharing. And I jumped on that bandwagon a few years back and was like, no, we can't have these in the classroom. And it's one of those things, like he was talking about the graphing calculators, you're looking at the students are going to be depending on technology. We're going to lose student engagement with their peers and their teachers. The quality of their work is going to decline. We're going to have academic integrity that's going to get lost, and loss of critical thinking, problem solving skills, all of those things that were shared with us, which ended up, I'm learning now, not being the case. A couple months back, I started exploring ChatGPT on my own and started realizing there are actually opportunities for me to incorporate AI in the classroom. So as I began to learn more about it, I started realizing there's ways that we can personalize learning for our students. ChatGPT and other AI platforms allow immediate feedback. They allow immediate support. They also provide support for me. We also were looking at continuously reducing those educational costs. OER has done a pretty good job of us not having to spend $200 on a textbook, but now we're looking at other platforms where I have to spend money just to access my homework assignments. So that's where platforms like MathGPT are coming involved now, where it's not just about accessing homework, but it's also accessing some other features that are going to benefit our students in the classroom. Also, we're looking at the development of our future ready skills. So when we try to stop AI from coming into the classroom, it's actually a disservice to our students, because at the end of the day, it's in our everyday lives. It's in the jobs and the careers that our students are trying to get when they leave us. So by not allowing them the opportunity to start kind of playing and learning and seeing what benefits they offer, we're at a disservice to them. So how I learned about MathGPT was, just like Georgia State is a part of the OpenStats institutional partnership, Chat Tech is as well. And I kind of run that program here for our college. And they send out marketing emails and other information, and MathGPT was part of it. On a webinar, I was blown away. I immediately called my supervisor right afterwards and I was like, listen to what I have to tell you. And he was blown away. And we were like, how do we sign up and get on this limited release pilot program? And from there, it's just been an awesome journey watching this program be developed and unfold. And I'm going to pass it back to Edsel and let him show you briefly what MathGPT has to offer.
Yeah, absolutely. Knowing the challenges and opportunities of AI for education, we approached the design of this product, MathGPT, differently with kind of these three pillars in mind. First, we wanted to ensure that the content that students and instructors were going to interact with, and the content that we were going to use to train our model was educationally sound. Adrienne mentioned OpenStax, and one of our founders did a lot of work with Rice University back in the early days when OpenStax was getting started, and just kind of had a personal and professional connection with them, and we've quickly realized they're certainly one of the premier OER publishers in kind of the space. But we started with OpenStax mathematics content because we wanted to ensure that with math, accuracy was key, and specifically that the pedagogy that was being used throughout our product to deliver this tutoring with students, that it was consistent with what classrooms were doing. I certainly remember back in the day when students might access resources outside of what I was doing in class and come in with like a different strategy or different way of doing things. And sometimes that was a great educational opportunity, but sometimes it did lead them down the wrong path. So we wanted to make sure that there was a consistency in the support that we wanted to provide students and what teachers were doing on a regular basis. Another key pillar that we use to design MathGPT is this idea that AI tools can actually be supremely useful for instructors. We wanted to design a very robust, course management system with an integrated AI native homework system, and this really allows instructors to easily and quickly manage pretty much all aspects of their course, thinking of MathGPT as an AI teaching assistant for them. As a powerful learning tool for students, we certainly built in what we call guardrails into our AI model that prevent students from wandering off topic. You'll see a couple of quick screenshots here in just a moment, but as a student is receiving tutoring from our AI tutor, they can't ask about the weather or who's going to win the World Series this year. Our guardrails keep students on track with learning. And this all kind of combines to provide students with that AI tutor that truthfully is infinitely patient with them. Students can ask any question they would like related to the concepts and topics at hand. And the tutor, I think, from my experience, certainly is the most patient tutor that student will ever experience. Students feel comfortable asking, what might be considered basic or developmental questions without any fear of feeling ignorant or not prepared for a class, and getting over that hump for students has been incredibly valuable for them. As previously mentioned, we focused our efforts on fully integrating with OpenStax Math. And currently, we are nearing the completion of the first 5 textbooks, having this content, our AI model trained on this content. And we're currently in about 50 classrooms right now that are using this, and Adrienne's going to speak to that just a little bit more. So it's very exciting from my perspective as an educator, former educator. I get it, who really, has this passion and heart for kids, has this passion and heart for folks learning math, to see a product like this really start to take flight. So just a couple of quick screenshots. Again, this is not intended to be a sales pitch. If you want to talk to us further, that's totally fine. But I just want to share with you like how AI can be a tool that really supports the instructor as well as the learner. So we have this course management functionality that integrates content very similar to like an LMS. It pulls many resources in. You can use multiple OpenStax textbooks on the system. Certainly, videos, PDFs, images, those sorts of things can all be kind of dynamically integrated in one place so that students are able to progress through the course kind of in one location. Our integrated AI native homework and assignment management system, it really allows teachers like Adrienne to create and deliver assignments with the use of generative AI. It's super slick. You simply select the concept, the learning objective, the number and types of questions that you'd like to generate, and our system will generate those questions, fill in the blank, multiple choice, multiple select. And what's really great is when those assignments are delivered to students, the grading happens automatically. Certainly have built this tool for ease of use for instructors, so they can go in and review student work, see their work, modify the scores if they want to give better partial credit, those sorts of things. But at the end of the day, it can be very efficient and effective for managing teachers' time and providing that single place for students to be. I talked a little bit about the tutoring. One of the aspects of tutoring is when a student would come to me as an instructor and I would say, what do you need help with? They often start with, I don't even know what to ask. I don't know what I don't know. And we built this tutor with that in mind, so that every time a student wants to start to interact with our AI tutor, we provide some suggestions for them, some commonly asked questions, some important things that they might want to consider about this particular topic. Students are able to watch these kind of Benjamin Franklin avatar videos where he teaches kind of quick concepts about mathematics. They can pause the video and use their microphone or their keyboard to ask a question, and Benjamin Franklin will provide the answer to that question. Really highly interactive, certainly a multimodal experience for students. And what's really, I think, incredibly important, and Adrienne touched on this concern about academic integrity. We won't just give the answer. Our product won't just give the answer to the student. They can't just say, tell me what the answer is. We actually have those guardrails built in so that students can't cheat. They have to go step by step through the problem. Kind of the last piece here is really the power that comes from technology and AI specifically. We can provide real-time data and insights for instructors to be able to really drill down into what kids know, what they don't know, what are they asking the most questions about. Super powerful tool for you to remediate in class or outside of class. And we're very excited to be building additional AI functionality into our product in the coming months, where you might be able to simply chat with our system and say, who are the students that are struggling to complete homework? What was the homework completion rate for the last 5 assignments? What learning objectives are students struggling with the most? And you can just kind of type that question in and get that data in real time. Again, our goal here is to help students, but also help instructors who are helping students. So I'll go ahead and kind of turn it back to Adrienne, and she'll talk a little bit more about what she's been able to do in class with this powerful AI tool.
Yeah, so right now we are in that limited release pilot process. So I've had to do a couple of modifications that I normally wouldn't do in a semester, but it's been great because with guided education, they are working with instructors and with our students to be able to refine the product. And we're able to give a lot of feedback, almost in a sense of breaking the platform and helping them understand what do we need as instructors and what do the students need as as they are progressing through the course. So understanding the student usage, the expectations of the platform. And one of the things that I'm looking for is to see this product reach its full potential, because one of those potentials is being the first line of defense for our students when it comes to tutoring. And I know a few of them are going to mention that about the access to our tutoring sites. So when we're looking at how does this enhance my classroom right now, one of the things, and back to a piece on the slide, a couple of slides back, where he was showing how seamless the content looks for the students. You know, we're piecing together our books and our material. We might use 2 or 3 books, and then I might use chapter 1, and then I go to chapter 11, and then I might use some of the learning objectives, and I might use all of them. I don't want the students to see that. I want it to look very streamlined. This is lesson 1 for unit 1. This is lesson 2. And then when they click on the lesson, they're able to see just the content that they need to see. They're seeing the textbook, they have a video that they can click on, and then they have this nice chat bot to communicate with. So with MathGPT, they're not clicking this link that takes them to a textbook, or clicking this link that takes them to their homework assignment, and clicking this link that takes them to YouTube. Everything is right here at their screen. And now they're able to read the book, and more importantly, be vulnerable about what they know and what they don't know with the chatbot. I find a lot of times that the students don't want to come to me or go to the Success Center or tutoring centers because they are embarrassed to say, I haven't been in a math class for 15 years and I truly just don't know what 2 + 2 is. I need to relearn everything. So the great part is I can have that conversation with the chatbot, and it's just me and the bot, and I can tell it exactly what I need. And then when I'm able to feel that confidence to go to a homework assignment, I still have that chatbot right there with me to help walk me through the steps. So this is really helping with that on-demand learning support. And it's helping again with that first line of defense for our tutoring. Yeah, I see it popped up. So, you know, a lot of times my students will come to me and they say, I know this is dumb. And I'm like, no, it's not dumb. You know, we all have to start somewhere. I always tell my students I had to get tutoring. I paid some good money for my some of my math classes to get through. So without further ado, I think that we've heard enough from me, heard enough from Edsel. I would really like to hear from our students. Like I said, I think there might be somebody online. I'm not sure. If you are online, just unmute and give your answers here. So the first question that I have is to my students. Have instructors allowed you to use any AI platforms in your classrooms?
It's not encouraged, but we spoke about it in my English class, kind of like the pros and cons of it. I like to use it because it helps break down the understanding of like what I want to write. If I have like a main idea of it, it kind of like breaks everything down for me.
This is the first time I've had the opportunity to use it, but I'm a returning student. After 8 years, I was in, I'm a medical assistant. I went to school almost 10 years ago for that. So returning to the classroom after that is completely different. It's completely different.
This is like the first time I ever had this in like schools, and honestly, it's been pretty helpful for me. It helps like break down certain steps. If I don't know anything, like if I don't know what to do, I can just ask like certain questions. It'll break down certain stuff to help you.
Okay. Our next question, what were your thoughts about AI prior to using MathGPT?
I didn't even know about it, so.
AI or MathGPT, or both?
Or both, really, yeah.
For me, I was just kind of shocked because I didn't even know schools let you do that for real. Because before that, they didn't let us use like stuff like that.
Okay.
I just didn't know if it was accurate. That was my whole thing. Because I mean, there's other apps that kind of help you, especially with like outside of math for other subjects. They kind of just give you anything, like anything that's related to that, they just put it all together. But then I say for Math GPT, it's more like precise information. It's more like directly on these subjects compared to like other things. So at first I was like, it's not accurate, but now it's kind of like already inputted information. So it's just breaking it down from where you're at. So I guess it's different.
Summer and Destiny, do y'all want to chime in on one of the first two questions? Saw y'all are able to unmute now.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I wasn't able to unmute myself, but I can answer the first two questions. I'm sorry. For the first question, not not much. My professors, of course, they talked about it during the first couple weeks of class, but it wasn't really encouraged. Like, hey, if you want to use this or that, you can go in there. I can help you out. It wasn't really encouraged, but it was definitely brought up in the conversation. Just for transparency reasons. The second question, my thoughts on AI. I would put it as if I didn't really know too much about it. I was just recently introduced to AI maybe a year ago. I never really used it like that because most people say, "Oh, it's bad." People you can get your assignments flagged for it or get a 0 for it for using it. So I just kind of stayed away from it because I didn't know how much of an impact it could be towards my learning until now. And that was what I had to say for the first two questions.
Okay, Summer, Lillian, I believe that's how you say your name.
Hi, this is Lillian. I just want to say this is also my first time using any AI thing, and for the math, I have to say it's been really helpful because I get really overwhelmed and it's hard when it comes to calculation, but it's been really encouraging for me because it just gives me the step-to-step thing I need. Yeah, that's it.
All right, we'll move to the next question and then y'all can all kind of chime in one at a time here. What have you liked the most about using MathGPT?
Step-by-step direction.
I really like the questions because oftentimes like said before, I did not feel comfortable coming up to a teacher. And no matter how many times they were like, it's okay, I would never feel comfortable going up to a teacher and asking a basic question that I missed lessons ago that I didn't realize I missed until at that point. And so I like being able to ask those questions. I like being able to be guided through the problems and cut a habit out of my, of solving a problem before I start a habit that's wrong.
For me, the number one thing that I like the most about using MathGPT is the conveniency as well. I love being able to just type in my question and I get an immediate response. That way I don't have to just sit there and just stress myself out or try to search the web for a specific problem when, searching the web for a specific problem is already hard as it is. So I just like the conveniency of just being able to get an immediate response to my questions whenever I have them.
I like how it assists you in real time because my issue with math usually is like I'm doing something and there's like one small portion that I do incorrectly. Like, if you read in a word problem, it tells you to, add something and you take it away or you divide it or use the wrong formula for something. And with ChatGPT, it asks you like, do you understand these steps? And then if you don't, it kind of like breaks it down and then it tells you like what you did wrong to get that answer, how you could have got the answer that you did, and what to change for the next time.
I like how when you access it, it asks you certain questions, just in case like you don't know where to start, or like you don't have to type a bunch of stuff just to get it to do it, because it asks you certain questions about the problem that you may not even know, but it can also help.
This next question, I think some of y'all might not have input for this one because you really weren't familiar with AI, but if you were, has using MathGPT changed your perspective on AI platforms?
I would definitely say so, because I used to be very hesitant of AI platforms just because one, didn't know a lot about it, and two, there is this general consensus that AI is like doing it for you. And I knew that other people argued another perspective, but I hadn't really seen that perspective myself. And so MathGPT helped me realize that, hey, this is actually like helpful and not just doing it for me.
For me, I'm actually a recently high school grad. I graduated a year early, and I took maybe a gap semester. So during those 5 to 7 months, math was not, something I was thinking about. So when I got into this class, and Miss Baldwin, she introduced Math GPT, it definitely did change my perspective on AI. Because I was, recently in high school, a lot of my classmates at the time were using ChatGPT, but I was always told to stay away from it because just of all the negatives. But it has definitely changed my perspective on the AI platform, simply because it's more so of a resource than anything, and that's the one thing that I love about it.
All right, and our last question for you all. Regarding AI, what else would you like to see in your classes? Doesn't necessarily have to be your math classes.
I was telling her earlier that I had asked a couple of questions with the AI, and I think a good thing for it would be to be able to have an example. I was told that it told me it could not do anything but the problem it was working on. So I needed to kind of, I guess, have a different perspective, and it couldn't pull anything to show me. And then also maybe a calculator so that it could show you. It told me to use the calculator. I tried to use my calculator. It didn't work for me. So it couldn't guide me onto what I was doing wrong. So maybe a calculator to help that perspective, to be able to show you what you're missing.
Okay.
I like the calculator part. If it was able to like display how you could input certain things, because now I have this the TI-84 plus, and I'm like, it's nice, but I really don't know all the functions of it. And it's one thing to read it, but to actually like use it for certain problems, it's like, how am I doing this? And you can watch videos, but it's not really like applying to what you're actually working on like in that moment. And another thing could probably be, I think she really just said it, it's just like alternating questions. Like if I could work on it here, it asks you at the end, like, do you think you can do this on another problem? But it doesn't give you another problem because it only works one problem at a time.
Summer, Destiny, Lillian.
Yeah, I agree with the calculator part. I guess they're trying, my classmates are trying to say make it like an all-in-one platform kind of thing, where you can do multiple things within your homework and within ChatGPT to make it a little bit more effective, or I guess you can say convenient. So yeah, I would agree with the calculator as well. Um, I don't know what else I would like to see in the platform, but definitely a calculator and making it more so of all in one would definitely be something I would like to see.
I guess let me clarify the question a little bit, which is great. Like the feedback on MathGPT is always great. Please provide that. But I was more looking for just AI in general, maybe your English class, your science class. Just what would you like to see instructors do in your classes?
Oh yeah, outside of math, I feel like it should be used, especially in English and inside of science, because it's kind of like step by step. It shows you like where you need to start. What's the, if you give them an idea of like what you already know, it tells you what you're missing or like how to build from that. Instead of just like kind of like writing it out for you. With math, it breaks down everything instead of just giving the answer. And I think that's like really, really good because sometimes it's like, yeah, I can give you the answer, but I couldn't tell you how I got that answer. I just kind of know it. So that's what I like. And I think that would be good for other classes.
Go ahead.
I definitely think that the concept of MathGPT and the way it tailors to individuals and an individual's like questions and needs can definitely be applied to other subjects. And I think that that would be really helpful for other subjects like if somebody's in a writing class and they have grammatical errors or something that is worded choppily, like the MathGPT or the whatever GPT can go through and talk through that student with how to improve that, and the student can ask specific questions in the moment. And I think that in the moment part is really important to fix any mistakes before they become a habit.
I also think our instructors should also allow us to use it sometimes because in some of my classes we're taught not to use any AI generated thing, but I think it should be used because I personally see it like an extra tool for my study and because it gives me immediate feedbacks and just help me identify areas where I need extra help. It's not like I'm using it for something else, but I think it should be encouraged. Yeah.
I can definitely see AI being integrated in classes such as science classes because science is more so of a class that has a lot of explanations, and sometimes science can be a little hard and a little hard to understand. So I think AI could be very beneficial for a class such as science where you can just get an immediate response, be like, oh, okay, that's why this goes together, or that's why gravity does this, or, just like that.
Honestly, I think they should have it for like mostly like core classes, like math, some studies, science, and all that, because it, yeah, they could just make it for mostly the core classes that you need.
All right, any additional thoughts, any questions we didn't ask that you kind of want to chime in and just share your additional thoughts on? Or no, y'all feel like y'all covered it all? Destiny, Lillian, Summer, is there any additional thoughts you want to add? Are you good?
I'm good.
Okay.
Well, I'll just say, Adrienne and I, certainly worked on this presentation together, but we didn't do any sort of, practice or dry run as a whole group with all the students. And I had a few proud papa moments in there. The fact that generally, universally, you all said that it helps you better understand what you're doing in class, and like that really gets to the heart of what we're trying to do. And I know taking some extra time out of your day and your busy schedules, not always easy. So thank you for being here. I got a lot out of the student portion. I'm sure the other attendees did, but I really appreciate your perspective and feedback on AI in general, but certainly MathGPT. So thank you all. Okay. I think at this point, we're done with our formal slides, but happy to address any questions or answer any questions that have come up.
Gloria, do you want me to take this? I can facilitate over here if you want.
Please.
Okay, no problem. Hi, everybody. Thank you very much for this presentation and for sharing this platform with us and teaching us a little bit about it. I want everybody to know that they can put some questions in the chat, but I have a question to start us off for the students specifically. What has your experience in this class taught you about fear and how it can impact learning?
About what?
Fear.
Fear?
Fear. Fear, like F-E-A-R.
It certainly made it easier for me. Like I said, it's been a long time since I've been in a classroom, especially a math class. So not having to worry about having to email the teacher every time I had a question or have to call somebody that I know that knows how to do it to help me out every time I have a problem. It's made a huge difference that you don't have that dread behind every little thing that you have to do. You just are able to push the button and ask the question.
Could you rephrase the question a little bit? I think there might be some confusion on it.
Absolutely. So when students are fearing asking a question, that's one example of how that can hold them back from learning. So the question is basically, before you used this platform, were you fearsome about any part of your learning? And then when you use the platform, what did you learn about how fear can impact your own learning?
Got it.
For me, this is the first class, the math class that I've had that I had an A on because I notoriously did not understand math topics and math, anything math related immediately. It took me asking multiple questions and the teacher asking me, do I understand, after I've asked questions, and me having to just say yes because I didn't want to ask yet another question. And so having something like MathGPT allows me to just ask 1,010 questions without, again, like you said, like fear of being annoying and asking every single question all the time.
Jason put a comment into the chat. We see that a lot in the library too, not wanting to bother us with what seems like a basic question, even though that's exactly what we're here for. And I agree with that. I have another question. So in part of the presentation, it was mentioned that basically you end up requiring students to pay for a platform, if it's not something open like this, that they then need to pay to get access to even take the quizzes or anything like that. And we had surveyed our students a couple of years ago, and one of the comments that was made frequently was, ditch the access codes. Why are we having access codes that we have to pay for in addition to our classes? So for the students, in your other classes, can you just share with us the impact that having this type of an access code barrier has on your ability to progress, and also how removing that barrier has possibly helped you?
So full transparency, here at Chattahoochee Tech, we use 100% OER for our math classrooms. So we removed the access codes. I was laughing when you said that. We removed that a handful of years ago. But what we do use, which is My Open Math, it goes back to what I was saying earlier. It's so much clicking that frustrates me, it frustrates the students. I have to click this link to go to this link, then to go to this link, and then come back to this link, and then I gotta leave Blackboard, and then I gotta come back. It's very cumbersome. And then for instructors, you're at the mercy of people who know how to write codes. Like, I don't know how to write codes to have a problem that I want, so I just have to pray that this question is going to work and my students aren't going to get frustrated with those questions. So all of the frustration that I've dealt with, and I have not heard very many frustrations this semester from the students who use MathGPT. So it's just kind of making my semester go by a lot smoother than it normally does. Now, my other classes that are still using My Open Math, I'm still getting like, hey, question number, whatever, it's not working, it's not letting me graph, it's not letting me do this. I'm having to deal with that, just not in the classes that I'm using MathGPT.
Okay, so do we have any questions? We're going to be moving on in just a moment to the next session, but I do want to ask one more question. As far as you as the instructor and creating ancillary materials for yourself, when you're using ChatGPT.AI, is there any way to share what is created, or do you need to go into the platform in order to experience it completely?
You mean like right now you would like to see the platform? Is that what you're asking?
No. Sorry. I don't know if we have time for that, but
Right.
so basically, like, as you are using this as a teacher, it sounds like you can prompt it to create certain problems for the students. Is that true?
Yes.
When it creates these problems, like let's say you gave it a set of prompts and now you have what you need for your class. Is it possible for the instructor to then share what has been created outside of the platform for others to use?
That's an Edsel question.
Yeah, I'm happy to answer that. At this time, what is generated by the platform by the individual instructor stays in that class. We haven't really explored the use case of that kind of going beyond the classroom into like a broader community, or the functionality. We're super careful with any student data and FERPA compliance and those sorts of things. And so we really look at it as Adrienne's class, and what she creates is for that class. Now we certainly will have that ability for her to clone her class for the next term and those sorts of things, but beyond that, it doesn't cross across instructors.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Okay, I don't see any other questions. We have a comment: interesting and informative presentation to the students. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. I echo that. I really like to hear the students' perspective. Adrienne, thank you for putting together the panel of students. Do you have any final things to share before we take a 10-minute break?
I think that's it. Thank you all for attending.
Yes, thank
you
y'all.
very much. Good job, guys.
All right,
We will be
bye.
back in 10 minutes.